would like to do a video on Psalm 26. It's a wonderful psalm that is the plea of the righteous. And what's going on, there's a debate. Some believe there was calamity in the land as a result of a plague. Others believe that it's simply looking at how evil can grow and how a good person feels in the midst of that. And there's a plea of the upright to the Lord. However you apply it, it is a time of trouble for the psalmist as he writes this. And so I would like to go through it and do the inductive Hebrew grammar as we look at it and think about what the psalm is saying, both grammatically and also by way of application. It begins, LeDavid, Shofteni Adonai ki ani bitumi halakti. That is, judge me, O Lord, for I, in my integrity, I walk, or I have walked. Uve Adonai v'takti lo emad. In other words, and I have trusted in the Lord, not wavering. I have not wavered. I have trusting without wavering. Notice Shofteni is the Cal imperative, masculine singular from Shaphat, with the pronominal suffix first person singular in the E, the ain being a hinge, I believe, to the E, the pronominal suffix. So judge me, O Lord. Notice Adonai, the vocative of address. Judge me, O Lord. Ki ani, for, and he's giving the reason why he is willing to be examined. Actually, he's asking the Lord to examine his heart. For I, ani is your personal pronoun, bit to me, in my integrity. Notice the be here is your preposition, the inseparable preposition, followed by to me, which means integrity, and E is your pronominal suffix, first person singular. So I have walked in my integrity. Notice halakti is the cow perfect, first person singular from halak. So I have walked in my uprightness before you, Lord, and furthermore, I have trusted in the Lord. Uve Adonai, and in Yahweh, v'tachti, I have trusted. Notice v'tachti is your cow perfect, first common singular from v'tach, to trust. So I have trusted, lo emad, I have not, or I do not waver. Notice here we have ma'ad, to waver, and we have the cow imperfect, first person singular from ma'ad. So Lord, I want you to examine me. I have trusted in you, and I have not wavered in that trust. So he continues in the next verse, Bechaneni Adonai v'naseni, tzerofai hilyotai v'libi. Notice he says, examine me, O Lord. Bechan means, or bechan means to examine. And notice again, we have a cow imperative, masculine singular, from the root bechan, to examine, followed by the hinge in the ain, and the E, the pronominal suffix, first person singular. So examine me, O Lord, and try me. From nasa, here we have the PL imperative, masculine singular from nasa, again, followed by your pronominal suffix, first person singular. So examine me and test my rein and my heart. And notice here we have another imperative to test, and then hiliotai means my kidneys. Notice it's interesting, in the ancient world, the kidneys would look at the emotion, and so test my emotion. And notice I is your pronominal suffix put on a plural, feminine plural noun in hiliotai. And my heart, the lev. Heart normally in Hebrew is looking at the mind. And notice again, it's followed by the first person pronominal suffix. So test my inner being, my emotions, and my mind, Lord. What he's really telling the Lord is he feels his conscience is clear, and he's willing to have the test to prove that God could test him, and he's willing to submit himself to that. And that is something that is really amazing. And we all should be able to somehow say that to the Lord, examine me, examine my heart, examine my mind. And then he goes on talking about God's mercy. Ki chastecha leneged einai v'hithalakti ba'amitecha. That is, for your mercy is before my eyes. Notice ki here is giving a causal phrase, followed by chastecha. This is from chesed, meaning mercy. So your mercy is leneged, preposition, before my eyes. Ayin is I. Einai would be I in construct with your pronominal suffix, first person singular. So your mercy is before my eyes, and I have walked in your truth. Hithalakti is from halak, to walk. And notice we have a hitpayel, perfect, first person singular, common singular from halak. I have walked in ba'amitecha, in your truth. Notice emet is truth here, and it's in construct with ha, your pronominal suffix, second masculine singular. And the ba here is simply your preposition, in. So I have walked in your truth. So what he's really saying here is that I've kept before you, Lord, the loving kindness that you have shown to me. And I have not gone away from following you. I have been faithful. And so I want you to examine me and see if that's not true. For your mercy, your loyal love has been before my eyes. And I think about the New Testament, where Paul in Ephesians writes, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not of you. It is a gift of God, not as though anyone should boast. One should not boast. But he said, in light of that, walk worthy. We have been saved by faith and by grace, and we then are to walk worthy of that, Paul says in verse 10. So this is where I think the psalmist is coming from in talking to Yahweh. And then in verse 4 and following, he continues to talk about what he has done, what he hasn't done, I should say. Notice, lo yashafti im mete shav, ve'im nahalamim lo avo. I have not sat with falsehood, with basically men of falseness. or men of vanity, who tell that which is false. Notice Yashafti is your cow perfect, first person singular, common, first common singular from Yashav. So I have not sat with men of vanity, though that is those that practice falsehood. I have not pursued those worthless things, he's saying. Neither do I go with those that are, and this is an interesting word, they that hide themselves, or they who conceal their motives. Ve'im nahalamim, those that are hiding themselves from Alam, I do not go. And notice avo here is the cow imperfect first common singular from bo. And so I don't go with those that have hidden motives, is what he's saying, to do wrong. I don't really seek out their friendship because they have an outward show of friendship, but inside they have other schemes, I believe is what he's saying. So he goes on to verse 5, I hate the assembly of evildoers, saneti kahal mereim. Notice saneti is from sana, and it is the cow perfect first common singular from sana, and the kahal mereim is two nouns in construct, the assembly of evildoers. I hate, and I do not sit with the wicked. Ve'im reshaim lo eshev. Notice im here is the preposition going with reshaim from rasha, the wicked ones, lo eshev. Eshev is the from yashav, it's the cow imperfect first person singular from yashav. And by the way, historically, this was a vashav, a pei vav verb that later became a peyod, or was seen as peyod, but historically was pei vav. And that's why it would have read iv shave becoming a shave. In other words, the vav would have elided, and we have compensatory lengthening from a hiri to a tseri in that environment. So I haven't done that. And then notice in verse 6, Erchatz benikdayon kapai, va'asovava et misbachacha Adonai. I will wash my hands in innocency. Notice rachatz means to wash. Again, a cow imperfect first a person singular from rachatz. So I wash with innocency, nikkayon, my hands. Kaf meaning hand, and here it's a plural noun in construct with I, your pronominal suffix, first person singular. And neither do I come around your altar. I don't do this so that I can come around your altar. Notice, va'asovava et misbachacha Adonai. So with the result that I'm able to come around your altar. So I'm not seeking, Lord, to come before your altar in a way other than being morally pure. And he said, I want to be unstained in my hands, and I want to wash my hands of anything. I really have been innocent. I have not done the things that he's describing in the previous verses. So then verse 7, he wants to lishmiya bekol todah, or lishmoa, bekol todah ulesaper kol nifla'utecha, to make heard, or to make the voice of thanksgiving heard. Notice lashmoa, to cause to be heard, I should say, the voice of thanksgiving. And so here we have an infinitive construct, followed then by kol todah, two nouns in construct, preceded by the preposition beit, to hear the voice of thanksgiving. I want to hear that and make known in your presence of how you've helped me, and I can give thanks, and to tell of all of your wonderful works. Notice ulesaper is a PL infinitive construct from safar. So I want to tell of all of your nifla'utecha, of all of your wonderful works. Here we have nifla'ot, which is your feminine plural, and the ot, followed by your pronominal suffix, second masculine singular in the cha. And so, Lord, I want to come before you. I want to tell of all of your wondrous works in a public kind of say testimony of how you've taken care of me and been kind to me. And then as we move on in verse 8, Adonai ahavta ma'on beitecha umekom mishkan kevudecha. O Lord, I love the dwelling place of your house. Notice ahavta is your cow perfect, first person singular from ahav. I love the dwelling place of your house. Here we have two nouns in construct, followed by the cha, the second noun in construct with the cha, the pronominal suffix, second masculine singular. So I love the habitation of your house and the place of the dwelling place of your glory, the dwelling place of your glory. Again, notice he wants to go into the house of the Lord, where God's presence dwells, in the temple of the Lord, and he wants to be in his presence. And he feels that he has sought to lead a holy life, to be able to come before him and to be in his presence. And that should be all of our desires, to serve the Lord and to be faithful, to come before him, to adore him and thank him for all that he's done for us. So he goes on, and in verse 9 then, and says, Al ta'asof im chata'im nafshi ve'im anshe damim chayai. Do not gather my soul with sinners, nor my life, nor with men of blood, my life. Al, notice ta'asof here is a cow imperfect, second masculine singular from asaf, together with sinners, im chata'im nafshi. Notice chata'im means covenant breakers, and my soul. Do not gather my soul with covenant breakers, nor my life with men of blood. Im anshe damim chayai. Anshe damim, two nouns in construct, the plural, and anshe, followed by damim, men of blood, chayai, of my life. In other words, what he's really saying here is men who are guilty of doing violence. Thank you, Lord, that you have kept me in your presence. And I want to read a note here from the Sunsino commentary of the Bible that I thought was helpful. The psalmist pleads that in heart and character, he is diametrically opposed to these evil men and prays that God would discriminate between him and them, that he should not be confused with them or mistaken for one of them, neither in their plots, their practices, or their ultimate fate. And this is a quote that Cohen makes on page 76 of the Tehillim, of the commentary on the Psalms. And I'm assuming that this possibly could be from Delitzsch or Davison, because basically he only identifies the quote by the letter D. And I'm assuming that those are one of the two commentaries he's referring to. So then we move on. In whose hands is craftiness? Asher bidehem zima, viminam mal'a shachad. In other words, in whose hands is craftiness, and their right hand is full of bribes. Notice here, these people who have these evil devices probably are looking at those who have power but commit hurt and violence and plot to really through bribery to hurt others. He said, Lord, protect me. I have kept myself away from any kind of bribery and what I see happening from, sometimes he's saying, the powerful around me. And then he goes on in verse 11, Va'ani betumi elek, bedeni v'chaneni. That is, but as for me, here we have that ani again, personal pronoun, first person. In my integrity, I walk. Notice elek is from halak again. The hey has elided. Cow imperfect, first person singular from halak. And so redeem me. Pedani is from pada, to redeem. Here we have a cow imperative followed by a pronominal suffix, first person singular. Redeem me and be gracious to me. Chanan, to be gracious. Another imperative followed by first person singular, pronominal suffix. And so my foot stands in an even place. Ragli amada b'mishur b'makhelim avarek Adonai. My foot stands in an even place. In other words, what he's really saying here is, I have tried to stand in obedience to you, the psalmist is saying, and I have kept my heart pure. And it's sort of like, basically, I've stood in a smooth place. And as a result, in the congregations, I will bless the Lord. Notice, b'maghelim avarek Adonai. Avarek is a PL imperfect, first person singular from barak, to bless. Notice the composite shavah followed by the comets, because we cannot double the resh, so we have compensatory lengthening under the preceding aval from a pathak to a comets because of that. So in the congregations, I will bless the Lord. Of those who assemble and worship, he wants to publicly be a part of that because of what the Lord has done for him, because of the Lord's grace and love and mercy. And that should be all of our desire. And those who follow the New Testament, Jesus said, you know, blessed are you if you do what I have taught you and keep my commandments. And how wonderful the New Testament illustrates the same thing, that we can go, he who has pure hands, blessed are the pure in heart, Jesus said, for they shall see God. And so what a wonderful, wonderful application that the New Testament makes to what we're seeing in this Hebrew text or this Hebrew psalm. Thank you very much.